This is gonna look kind of weird because there's a bunch of us here.
No, it's all good. I almost saw myself there for a second. I was self-conscious. I'm like, man, it's HD.
Yeah, you're
You
pretty
make sure
good.
my stuff's intact. Yeah.
Is my
pretty
Going
hairline
on
really
with-
that bad?
Yeah. You guys remember, you guys follow hockey at all?
Oh yeah.
Guys in the room, you remember when they came out with HD and the NHL had that commercial of like Jerome McGinley? He's like, oh, goddamn HD. And he's like tweezing his eyebrows. You guys remember that one? That's how I felt right there. I'm like, oh, I'm on the big screen. But good to see you guys. Are we waiting on some other people? Or are you guys ready to get started?
No, I think we're good to go.
Yeah.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, hey, before I get into it, so hey guys, my name's Ryan. I'd love to just go around the room if you want to introduce yourself and then just say what you did before you worked for the company. Why don't we go around the room this way?
So I'm Chris, and then I was in automotive sales and finance.
Nice. Were you doing both sales and F&I, or were you just in the business office?
Yeah, well, I was just in the business office, and then I also ran like my own department out of the dealership, I guess. So advertising, sales, financing.
Sweet.
admin
What store?
Waterloo Ford and River City Hyundai were probably the
cool.
most recent.
Nice. Yeah, the car industry's got the biggest stigma about salespeople. So we'll be talking about
big time.
sales and closing today. Yeah. So they need a lot of help. We worked at that store. Were you there when Krista Dupuis was there? Or?
Yeah, Chris
was it?
was my general manager at one point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Small world. Small world.
Yeah,
man.
that is
Well,
actually. That's funny.
crazy, huh? Yeah. Awesome. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, no, I'm Dylan. I used to work in bar management and bartending before this, so a little bit different.
Oh man. Yeah, I know you're a good people person.
Oh yeah,
Telltale sign, man. I like it. Good to meet you.
likewise.
Hey, I'm also Ryan. Had lots of different jobs before this. Most recently, I supervised a poker room. That's cool.
Nice. That is very cool. I just watched. Have you guys ever seen the movie Boiler Room?
Oh yeah.
Where Giovanni Ribisi plays the guy, he's like doing an illegal like poker room in the background. That's awesome. Ryan, you gotta check that one out. Ryan came onto the call looking at me like there can only be one.
There's 3 of us here.
Good to meet you, man. Yeah, good to meet you. Anyone outside the frame?
Yeah.
Yes.
There we go.
My name's Jesse. I've been in oil field and landscape management for 20 years, and then 4 years in sales, landscaping.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, that's kind of the team.
Sweet. Is Spencer joining us?
I don't know. I don't think so, to be honest.
Okay, awesome. I'll text him just in case, and then we'll get rolling. If you want to join, get started either way. Cool. So guys, I'm excited to meet you. My name is Ryan. I actually work for Grant Cardone Canada. This is our office here in Vancouver. If you're wondering if this is a virtual background, it's not. This is our actual office. Kind of like Chris, I actually lived in Ontario. I was working for the Ottawa Senators as a sales rep. Boo. And then during their worst season ever, I got a hold of some strategies, some closing, objection handling, some follow-up stuff that helped me increase my sales by 83% in 2 months in their worst season ever. And I flew out here, and now I represent a guy named Grant Cardone. So today, what I want to talk to you guys about is just some of the stuff that has helped me personally. I don't really like calling myself a trainer. I'm a salesperson or a representative, just like you guys. And I'll just give you guys some strategies on the close. By the way, the person, you guys all have a pen and a notepad handy? Okay, the person that participates the most, that takes the best notes, we'll get a copy of the Closer Survival Guide. It's an audio program with over 100 closes in it. It's unbelievable. So that is a bribe for you guys to participate so that I don't feel self-conscious, like Jerome McGinley circa 2003. Okay. Who is, just by a show of hands, who here has heard of Grant Cardone before?
Yep.
Okay, sweet. So just so you know, yeah, guys, like this is key. Okay, the strategies that I'm teaching you is from a guy that literally is the #1 person in the space. Some of the best companies on the planet are utilizing these strategies, and it's not something that, you know, Ryan, solopreneur living in a basement suite somewhere, came up with. So let's get right into it. The reason you don't ask for the close, okay? Has anyone ever, you know, kind of been there, they're like getting to the close and then they're like, I don't really want to like ask for it. It's kind of, feels like I'm kind of pushing them a little bit, and you kind of back off. Raise your hand if you've ever done that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I want you to write this down. Everyone write this down. It's the internal objection. The internal objection. Okay, who knows what I mean by that?
I thought of something as soon as I said that, or seen that, is I didn't think that the project was ready to sell yet, but it's been 3 meetings and I don't want it to drag on, and I most likely could sell it, but there's more I wanted to do with the client and it's just a waste of time.
So you're saying that you should have gone for the close anyway, or are you saying
Just
it
to
was the
close
right
it,
thing to?
yeah, make some money, be efficient in time, but sometimes I just cater to the client's needs way too much.
Okay, good. So why don't we do this? Let's do an exercise. Okay. What are the objections that you guys hear most from the client? Let's just write them all down. What are the top 3, maybe top 3 or 4?
Costs.
Too expensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cost.
Too expensive. Cost.
To the
Okay.
wife.
The organization of the project wasn't as detailed as they wanted, or as they expected more. So your expectations you gave them was really high when they came in.
Okay. So I think Ryan, you mentioned something. Talk to the wife. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I mentioned that. Yep.
Okay, sweet. Oh, that was you, Chris?
Yep. Yeah, you.
Okay, sweet. Talk to the wife. Too expensive. Expectations and organization. What else?
I would say timeline, maybe.
Oh yeah,
The time that
start
we're
date.
gonna, deliver our.
Right. Timeline. Right. You guys ever talk to, because we have a lot of clients in the space, and you'll talk to people, you'll be like, yeah, I actually can't deliver this in 8.2 seconds, sir. It might take a couple months. And they're like, what do you mean? And you're like, yeah, you know how the world's been? They're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Do it. And you're like, are you not, like, read it? Like, there's this thing that happened called COVID, and there's a shortage of freaking everything. So if you guys raise your hand if you've dealt with that, with a customer. Okay. So, but what we want to get, and this is the first step, we're going to go more into detail on this, but the first step is your internal objection means on some level, okay, you agree with the customer because you have given these objections in your own life. So I want you to look at what you buy. Where do you say, hey, it's the wrong timeline? Where do you say it's too expensive? Do you always need to talk to the wife?
Well, buying a vehicle.
Good. Okay. So
I find they try to push you in so fast that it feels inhuman.
Sounds
Yep.
about right.
Yep. Okay. So what else? Where do you guys, for everyone in the room, too expensive, talk to the wife, organization, which one of those objections do you give in your own life?
I would say probably cost is a big one for sure.
No, yeah, or getting what I want. No compromising.
Yep. You guys are like, yeah, but then you're like, oh wait, that's probably costing me money in my job, because if you say in your own life, let's say you're buying a car or a house, or like, you're like, I need to get, it's too expensive. you hear that from the customer, you're going to be like, yeah, I guess that's kind of reasonable. I say that too. You don't realize it, but you got to start to be aware. Like, and I want you guys to start to look at, like, even in the grocery store, who's ever looked at like 2 items and they're like, this one's $1.50 less. Let me grab that one. Right. Okay.
I don't mind spending more
If-
money on food.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is where like you start to create habits that seep into other areas of your life. And it's like, dude, Ryan's looking at me like, what the hell are you talking about? How is blueberries for $1.50 less have to do with a $60,000 renovation? And I'll tell you why. Because most people, they get 3 quotes, right?
Most people,
Yeah.
I would say, yep.
Yeah. Okay. You guys are probably like, I see the awards there. You guys are probably more expensive than some other people, but you deliver a way better service, a way better product, right? Okay.
We'd like to think so, yep.
So you're like, sir, you need to sell them on the fact that, hey, this is like 60 grand, they're 45 grand, but we're worth it. How can you convince a customer to do 60 grand instead of 45 if you can't make sense of spending an extra $1.50 on organic blueberries?
Warranty.
So just, we're not going to go too deep into this, but just, I want you guys, like, when, as a customer, I'm a lay down intentionally, because I don't want to give price objections or think about it, because I know if I give those objections, I'm going to make sense of customers giving me those objections. And when I started just, all right, let's do it, let's roll, and I started buying stuff quickly, I noticed that when customers would give me price, I'd just be like, yeah, like whatever, like I'm flat on it. I'm not emotional about it. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay. The internal objection also has to do with, this is something we talk about in our program, is selling yourself. So this is where, like, I could have started this meeting with, we have over 100 different word tracks for all the objections you just gave. I could have started with that, but if I teach you guys a word track, who knows what a word track means?
Yep,
No.
like a verbiage. Like,
Yeah,
how
exactly.
to close thing.
Yeah.
So,
If I don't genuinely believe that my product is the right thing and I'm genuinely convinced, then the word track's going to come off kind of cheesy. And that's why, who's seen Wolf of Wall Street?
Just watched it.
yeah, that's what we did for our
Yeah.
last meeting.
Yeah. So they weren't sold on themselves because they were screwing people over, right? So they had to rely on tonality patterns, right?
I get it.
It's very true.
You know? Okay, so does that make sense? So you guys have to be genuinely sold. Anytime I'm in the close, I'm never like scripty or robotic. I'm just genuinely like, hey, like the close is the right thing. And I'm so sold on my product that I believe someone should go into debt for my product. That's how much I believe in it. And if you guys are like, man, that's Ryan's freaking guy in a suit and tie, wearing a clunky headset, looks like he should be flying air traffic, not giving me sales tips. What's this guy saying should go into debt? That's pretty harsh. Like, I am unreasonable. Like, I'm so sold on my product, it's crazy. So you guys just gotta like get more sold on your product. And I want you guys, if you guys have phones, just take a screenshot of this and do this exercise after this meeting. It's a great exercise. Why my product is worth the price, why my company is worth the price, and why I'm worth the price. And if you can't come up with 10 reasons for each, or you're struggling to get to number 3, now you're starting to realize, oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's not so much like my exact skills, but it's like my belief level. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Okay. Reason you don't ask for the close, you don't know where you're at in the sales process. Okay. So sometimes the sales process is very simple, right? You greet the customer, you handle their objections. Fact finding means you find out about them, right? What are you looking for in your innovation? How have you done it in the past? Have you ever done this before? Then you present to what's important to them. And then you go into the trial closes and then the write-up. So this is something that we don't have time to go super deep into, but do you guys have a specific process that you go through every time, or do you kind of just shoot from the hip depending on what the customer is? What do you guys think?
I started shooting from the hip and then gained a process from that. And then I find that I can randomize most situations just based on my experience. So I just kind of bleed them to death full of information until they're impressed. At the first meeting, I'm saying.
Yeah. So here's where like one tip, I will say one thing about this is like, you have to find out in your fact find, like what's important to the buyer, what problem are they trying to solve? Write this down. What problem are they trying to solve? What's the only reason anyone buys anything ever?
No problem.
No, what's the reason that people do buy things?
Make something nicer or to solve a problem, like you
Yeah,
said.
to solve a problem. Okay, write that down.
So probably my favorite part is problem solving.
Okay. By the way, if they just love it and they have to have it, what problem does that solve?
All of them. All of ours that we.
Yeah, it's the fact that they don't
All
have
of
it. The
ours.
fact that they, yeah, like let's say you guys are working at a jewelry store and you sell a $30,000 engagement ring to a guy. What problem does that solve?
The angry wife or the angry.
Yeah,
The wife problem, which is probably the biggest.
yeah. And dude, that's a persistent problem. Dude, that guy, is it time yet? He hesitates, then he gets no nookie. That's a problem. Okay, so you guys got to understand, it's like, what is the problem? Like maybe it's like, hey, how long have you guys been looking at this? You're asking questions, and then it turns out that the husband doesn't care about the tile or the granite. He cares about the wife not nagging him anymore about the freaking kitchen. Right? So it's like, what you got to dig a little bit deeper. And this is where salespeople, like, it's great to give a lot of information, but sometimes you present too much and you're presenting to stuff that's not important to them.
Right.
Like, for example, I went to test drive a car and the dude's showing me blind spot monitoring and safety features. I'm like, I don't care about any of this. I'm like, dude, just show me the engine and show me the sound system. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then trial closes. Who knows what a trial close is?
I do.
Is that when you introduce another person?
No.
Nope.
Essentially asking for the business before you ask for the business.
Asking without asking, you know?
Essentially, yeah. If I were to do this, would you?
Yeah. So who knows what the difference is between a trial close and a close?
No, you can go ahead.
Okay, this is very important. And you know, Spencer and Chris, they wanted me to talk about the close today, but this is such a key point that I want to touch on, because a lot of people, they try and go for the close without the trial close. It's like you're trying to go on a date, or you're trying to get into bed with a girl, but you like skip the date. It's like such a key step is the trial close, right?
You
And
give them
basically
like
the difference.
you give them like what about initial budget, stuff like that, talking about, you know, maybe how much they might spend, and I find that works. I don't know.
Yeah, that's part of the fact finding, like where you find out,
Oh.
like, hey, what have you spent in the past is a great question. Like, have you ever spent any money on a reno before or cabinets before? Okay, but here or cabinets, landscaping before. Okay, but what I want to talk to you guys about is the difference. The trial close versus a close. The trial close asks for an opinion or an evaluation. The close asks for a decision. So you guys ever do, ever take out the turkey from the oven and you stick the little tester in it, see if it's ready?
Yeah, right.
Right? That's you're trial closing the turkey. You're seeing if it's ready to be closed. Okay. So you're doing the same thing with the customer, is you're seeing if they're ready. Okay. What is, I'll test you guys. What is this? Is this a close or a trial close? Hey, sir, do you want to put this on a Visa, MasterCard, or American Express?
Close.
Okay, good. Hey, sign here, here, and here, and we'll get this started. Is that a close or a trial close?
It's closed.
Close. Signing contract.
That's a close. That's a close. Okay. But I can't ask for the close if I'm like, all right, so I showed you this feature, and then I'm like, let's do it. Like, you can't just do that. You have to ask for an opinion. Okay. And basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the sales process like a football field. It's like, hey, are we on the 30? Are we right at the goal line? Are we still in my zone? It's like, where are we at? So I know if I need to present more. So here's a great trial close question. What do you like best?
Well, I always set them up, like my initial budget numbers are always like 5-10% higher. Or else they'll tell them we start with everything and then we break it all down and then we decide what you need and then sign the contract. Because I give them like all the pricing for everything, and I know it's not a good idea lots of times, but I find it works. And then or give them an initial budget, and then they're comfortable and they know. Then I don't have to really, convince them on a price.
Yeah. So this is where like I think you're still thinking with the
Oh, okay.
the presentation. Like you're like, hey, how do I present it within their budget? What I'm talking about is you presented, right? You did your presentation. You talked about it, you found out what they needed, you've presented, now you're in the trial close. Like you guys got to map out like an athlete, like they always do the same warm up, the same thing, the same game plan. Okay, so I just want to find out once I've done my presentation, it's like, hey, are you ready to just punch it in the end zone, or are you still at the 30? Like how ready are you, like the turkey? So what do you like best? What do you like least? What other information would you want? Anything I missed? Any questions? Okay, any questions? Is a great one.
That's clear. That's nice.
Okay. Okay, so what happens? Let's say they answer. So someone asked me some of these questions. What do you like best? What do you like least? Someone go ahead. I'll be the customer, and why don't you be the salesperson?
Go ahead, Jesse.
Sorry, say it again.
So you be the salesperson. Ask me some of these questions. You presented everything, and now you're asking me the questions. Okay.
What do you like? What do you like out of the decking? A stone deck, composite decking? They're both the same price, so you can pick either or.
Okay, so that's more a question for, again, I think you're still thinking with the fact finding. Yeah. Like, so this is where I'm starting to understand. And by the way, guys, like when I started my career, I lost so many deals and I did not close so many deals because I just didn't know where I was at in the deal. And it would just drag on. And then I wouldn't be able, like when you have a process and you know what we're doing, and hopefully we could work with you guys on this. It's like, hey, I know what I'm doing. So it's like, hey, would you like a composite deck? Would you like this? You want more plants? And then you present, okay, so here's my presentation. Here's the options. I'm going to show them options, show it to them. But then once I've shown them everything, right? I did my pitch. I did my sales pitch. Now I'm done with my sales pitch. Now I'm in the trial closes. So here, let's role play that again. Just ask me, hey, what do you like best about what I've shown you or presented to you? Try that.
What do you like best? What I presented.
Oh, I love the way the deck works. I think it's awesome. I like the way this works with the plants. I like how the walkway works up to the house. I think it's brilliant. I haven't seen anything like this before.
What do you like the least?
Nothing. I love everything. It's awesome.
Did I miss anything?
Nope. I think I got everything. Okay, pause. So what do you know about me as a customer right now? What are you guys feeling you should do next?
Close immediately.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Yeah. So where do you think I'm at on this football field?
Oh, 10 or the 5 or even the 0, possibly close.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, just punch the ball in, right? Now, what if you say, hey, what do you like best? And I go, I don't know, maybe like the walkway. And you're like, what information would you want? It's like, yeah, I still need to look things over. Okay, are you going to go for the close? Yeah, so there's more to this. There's more to this. What we do, I don't want to make it too complicated, but you guys get the idea, right? The point is you got to find out where the customer is, and you got to lead them to like, okay, this buyer's ready. Now I could go for the close. And this is one of the biggest reasons that people don't go for the close, is because they don't know where the buyer's at. So it would just be awkward to just be like, all right, let's do it, sign here and here, if I don't know where they're at, because I'll just look like an idiot. So that's why people avoid going for the close. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Here's a great one. Have you heard enough to make a decision?
Hmm.
You know why this is so good is because salespeople, sometimes they talk themselves out of a sale by talking too much.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Like
ask
you
about the
guys have,
silence part. Sorry.
go ahead. You said what part?
Oh, that being silent in the, is that part of the trial close when you're letting them kind of speak to themselves in a sense?
Yeah, so when you ask a question, let them answer. Like a huge mistake is you ask a question and they go, and then you ask another question. It's just going to confuse people.
Right.
So just allow them to sit with it, wait for an answer, and that's how you properly communicate. But the have you heard enough to make a decision is like people know a lot coming into the deal. They look up stuff online, they talk to people, they review things. So sometimes they're ready to go and you keep talking. Like basically back to the football field, they're on the 5-yard line and you think they're on the 40. So you keep talking as if you're like, all right, I got to get them there. And they were already there. And now you talked yourself out of a sale. So you think they're on the 40 and you say, hey, have you seen enough to make a decision? And they say, yes. You're like, holy I don't know if I could swear with you guys.
Oh, yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
You guys play, you're like, holy shit, dude. I'm on the 5. Okay, good. We're not very like politically correct. So
As a new
I
salesperson?
figured you guys, yeah. I figured you guys were like cool with the non-sugar coated version. So that's a great question. You guys could, I'll send you this if you guys want, but you guys could take a picture, write these down. These are great word tracks for trial closes. And then any questions on this so far? I'm going to move into the closes. I know we only have a few minutes left here. You guys have a hard stop?
Oh, what, sorry?
A hard stop? Like you got to stop by X time?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Okay, sweet. Are you guys enjoying this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Good.
Okay,
pretty
sweet.
constructive, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to move into the closing part. Unless, is there any questions on the trial close part?
No, I think we're pretty clear
That's
there.
clear. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, here, write this down. Another reason you don't ask for the close, not having an arsenal of closes. Who knows what arsenal means?
A lot of it, a lot of ammunition, a lot of whatever information.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like an ammunition term.
I think
So
this,
like if I got
one of the more important things that we have to learn is this closing part for sure.
Yep. Okay, so guy says objection. Let's just pick the number one thing you said. It's too expensive. Money, too much money. Okay. I want everyone to write down your top 5 favorite closes for too much money. Write that down. Go ahead. I'll give you like 2 minutes.
What do you mean by that?
What you would say if somebody said that it costs too much.
Yeah. And like in the close, you did everything. You did your presentation, you did your trial close, and they're like, you know what, I'm ready to go, but it's just too much money. What's your favorite close? Some of you might have none, but that's okay. Just write down any that you do have. All right, another 20 seconds. All right, 5, 4, 2, 1. Okay, good. Okay, good. Time's up. How many of you guys got all 5? Raise your hand if you got all 5. Okay, good. How many of you got 4?
Maybe, but I don't know if it's right.
What's that? Chris got 4. Okay, good. How many got 3? Raise your hand
Well,
if
I
you got
just
3.
said I have like 5 or 6. But
Oh, good. Okay, nice. That's Jesse. Okay, sweet.
this is
Good job.
Jesse here.
Okay, sweet. Awesome. How many of you guys got 2? Raise your hand if you got 2.
Yeah, I think
How
we
many of
all
you got 1? How many?
Nobody.
What's that?
We covered everybody.
Okay, got it. How many had 1 or none? Raise your hand.
Nobody.
Okay, got it. Okay, good. So this is where like you guys got to understand like, hey, like if I don't have anything to say, right? Whose fault is it? Is it the customer's fault that I didn't close the deal, or is it my fault?
Well,
What's that?
I feel like it would be your own fault. You would have to know how to properly navigate around the conversation to make that close.
Exactly. Okay. If you're not closing them, they closed you. Okay.
I like that.
Let's just be frank. Like they closed you on the fact that it was too much money instead of you closing them on the fact that the value exceeds the money. Straight up. Like Grant Cardone, he's not going to sugarcoat the message. He's a pretty like we just tell it to you straight. And sometimes you're like, ooh, that one kind of punched me in the face a little bit. Okay, the professional salesperson never blames the customer. It's always my fault for not closing, always. If it's happening to me, I'm a victim. I can't do anything about it. Okay, we got these, and let me know if you want me to send some of these, but this is a message that I personally believe in.
I want one.
Okay, it's the customer's fault. They were too mean. They said it was too much money. Okay, even if the best salesperson on the planet couldn't have closed that guy, I'm still going to take responsibility for it. Okay, so this is like the guy who gets rejected by the girl at the bar. What does he say?
Slut.
Yeah, slut, bitch,
Bitch.
skank. Yeah,
Didn't want to talk to her
stupid
anyway.
bitch. Yeah, who's actually the bitch?
Me.
You know,
Yeah.
dude, Chris, high five to Chris because he's like taking force. He's like, me. Yeah. So it's just he didn't have good material, man. He didn't have closes. He didn't have like, you know, it's the golf club's fault. Who's seen this? Ah, man, it's just, yeah, I need to get it regripped. Stupid golf club. It's like, nah, bro, it's you. Okay, so always accept. Whoops. Always accept responsibility for every outcome. Let's skip this. Oh, here's a great close. I'm just going to give you guys a close. So especially in the landscaping space, right? You know, you'll get this where it's like, hey, I'm thinking about going with someone else, or I'm thinking about other options. Do you guys get that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a great close. I agree. Hey, if the money was the same, who would you rather go with?
Well, that's all in the presentation, right?
Well, this is, let's say you did the close, right? Or sorry, you did the full presentation. Now you're in the close, and they said, hey, listen, really appreciate the time, appreciate everything you've done, but I just need to think it over. We're just looking at some other options. We might go with another company.
Yeah, I'd send them home and then give them like a warranty book or something, or give them something that they can look back to make that decision easier. I don't know.
It's a good way to close.
Yeah, I would close them.
Yeah, that's a good way to close, actually.
You know what I mean?
Like insurance,
like don't,
your insurance costs
like-
nothing. Would you still get it?
like,
Obviously.
like guys, this is so important. It's like, yeah, I'll let them go home. If you're like, oh, Ryan, I don't know if I push them into the close, you need to go back to what we talked about earlier about the belief in your product. Like, does it really make people's lives better? Does it help them? Is it a great product, a great service? And if you're not sold on, hey, I should go for the close right now, you need to get resold on your product. That's why I started with that. So for me, like, I'm not going to be reasonable with the guy. I'm going to say, hey, I'm with you, man. Let me ask you, if the money was the same, who would you rather go with? They could say one of two things. What could they say?
Either you or the other guy.
Yeah. So if they say me, well, you guys, it's too much money. Okay, got it. Love that. Appreciate that you go with us. Let me ask you this, Jesse. Why is that? Well, you guys are, you have better awards. Okay, why else? You guys are closer. Okay, why else?
Niche
Because
material,
what's that?
niche material, something that you can get nowhere else.
Yeah. So like whatever they say, just keep saying why else until they run out of things to say. Yeah, you guys are better. You have niche materials. I really like Dylan. He's been a friend since high school. Like, I like your process. I like Chris. Okay, why else? Why else? Why else? Why else? Okay, and then until they run out, and then at the end, why else? Why else? That's it. Okay, good. So you could clearly see all the reasons why we're more expensive. Sign here and here.
Easy.
Right? Okay, and they'll sign. They'll do it. I'm telling you, like Morgan, the guy that walked by me in the background, he did this 3 weeks ago. Closed the guy.
Actually, that's problem solving too, right? That's a kind of a skill to navigate the situation.
Yep.
Even if
I'll show
you don't have all the information, you can still give them enough information that it doesn't matter what the information is, you just have to sell that too.
Yep. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to end off on a real live close from Grant Cardone. And you're going to see that this isn't just stuff we're preaching. This is stuff that we're using. You guys down to see a live close?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Check it out. Okay.
Close here.
Yeah, except ethical.
Oh, we don't have.
Drop in, not discuss everything. Drop in.
Okay, so why don't I do this? I'll give you a call at the end of the month, and then we can see where we're at, see if things change a little bit.
Oh,
Hey,
really?
this is Carlos.
Hey, Carlos.
Hey, your business is failing, buddy.
Grant Cardone here. How you doing?
This ain't Grant Cardone.
More familiar
Yes, this
with Grant
is.
Cardone, but, you know, if he sees a sales
Hey,
pitch,
Grant Cardone?
This is Grant Cardone, sir.
or a certain type of
Oh, my
fund,
God.
then you
Grant
can
Cardone?
also log
The
on,
Grant
just
Cardone.
send it right here. Put your hand- Why are you still on your lawsuit?
Bro, I
Hey.
never thought I'd be talking to you on the phone. I'm always talking to your
Yeah,
people.
on average, they're five.
Well,
How many people working for you then, bro?
You know what? You're talking to me right now. Hey, and the reason I'm jumping on this call, Carlos, is because I heard Jared say something about he's going to call you back next month.
There's literally
Okay, so there was already an objection. You guys know what it was?
This isn't Grant Cardone.
Yeah. But like more specifically, and you guys get this all the time. He's doing what's called the chum chum. Okay.
Jump.
If the chum chum, they act all friendly and nice. So you're in the close and they're like, yeah, we're going to think about it. By the way, like how did you get into your career? Like you seems like such a bright young man, and yeah, you guys must be doing so great. And then the conversation veers off, and then they're like, okay, have a good weekend. And you're like, oh, what a nice person. Who knows what I'm talking about? Okay. Yeah. So what did Grant do? The guy's giving him, oh my God, Grant Cardone, I'm fluffing him up, right? What does he do?
What?
He says, yeah, exactly. Moves straight into the close. Okay. So just notice that.
Yeah, I just need some time to look at this thing, man. I want to finish out my month.
Okay, but let me ask you something. Why did you look at it in the first place?
Well, I have an interest in training, man. I have an interest in getting my people trained.
And why do you have an interest in getting your people trained?
Support's $1,000 if you
Well,
want to have.
obviously, the better trainer, or the more revenue it is, the less expensive.
Okay, so what's important to you? What problem are you trying to solve?
In that, we're going to include a ticket for.
Well,
one of your
I want to get them to be able to handle all the situations that they encounter, man. I want to get my green teas better trained. I want to get my veterans excited again. You know, I'm trying to survive like anybody, man. I'm trying to expand my.
Good. And Carlos, excuse me, but do you feel like you're missing opportunities right now?
Yes. Well, yeah, man. I mean, we all do.
Good. So you didn't call Jared, you didn't show interest in our product because you wanted to save money. You called Jared because you want to increase your income by your revenue by having your people better handle situations, get your veterans experience, and get your newer salespeople trained.
Can you hear him?
Yeah, but I just don't want to spend as much on your product as what he's asking too. I mean, can't you guys do better now? $1,500 a month's pretty high, man.
Well, the $1,500 a month, that's your objection, is the cost?
See, he's moved already.
Well, that's one of the objectives. Sure, you know, $1,500 a month. I just kind of wrap my arms around that.
Yeah, well, let me explain to you that it's not $1,500 a month, it's $36,000.
Is that yourself?
Plus the $4,000 startup fee, which means it's $40,000. I need you to think about a $40,000 decision, not a $1,500 a month decision.
Okay,
You're going to be on this program 2 years, not 1 month. If you're not going to be on it 2 years, you need to tell me that up front, because then we don't need to do it. It won't work anyway. Let me ask you a question, Carlos.
I will. As soon as he's
When's the
done here,
last
I'll grab
time your company spent $40,000?
it. Thank you.
Okay, by the way, who's in control of the transaction, of the conversation here?
Kind of the client is asking questions. It's like,
No, Grant's definitely steering the conversation.
Yeah, dude, Grant's full on in charge of this thing,
well,
right? So like
yeah.
Grant, like, dude, he's commanding the conversation. By the way, he's talking to a business owner. You guys aren't going to be like, it's kind of a little bit rougher around the edges. You're going to do the similar stuff with a homeowner, but it's just a little bit lighter. But I want to show you the principles of what he's doing. Okay, he asked, what was the last question he asked right before I paused it?
When's the last time you spent $40,000?
No, if
Yeah.
you can't do it, if
Yeah.
you can't spend that much, we can't do it. That's basically what he said.
No, he was doing a takeaway.
So
for
Dylan,
us.
yeah. So Dylan said it word for word. Yeah, he's like, when's the last time you spent $40,000? Okay, this is a great close that you could use. They're like, it's too expensive. Let's say the project's 60 grand. Okay. By the way, do you guys do 20, 30, 60? You guys do a variety, I imagine.
Average is probably like
Okay.
35 to 60.
Yeah. So let's say it's 60 grand, right? Okay. They're like, oh, it's just, Dylan, I love it. It's just, it's too much money. Hey, totally agree. It is a lot of money. Let me ask you this. When's the last time you spent $60,000 on anything? Because here's the deal. It's 60 grand's too expensive compared to what? Dude, if you bought $100 steak, is that expensive?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how is $100 and 60 grand both expensive? They're totally different. It's just relative, right? So if you can take them off of your product's expensive and you get them to think of all the other times they spent 60 grand, they're like, well, I have 2 kids in private school, probably spent that this year. Okay, good. When else? Well, I bought a Mercedes. Okay, good. When else? My mother is in a living institution. It's 60 grand a year. Okay, good. So this 60 grand is going to go towards, instead of your kids, someone else. This one's for you. Let's do this. Okay, so Grant's going to do it in a different way. You'll see. Watch.
We probably spend almost that a month on advertising.
Have you ever had it not work?
Well, you can't ever really put a finger on it, but I'm sure, it's working somehow. We want to keep spending the money.
Right. So look, you're going to spend $40,000 to train your people over 2 years, to handle every opportunity that comes to you, and you spend $480,000 in the same period of time on advertising. This represents basically 8% of your ad budget. Do you want to train your people? Do you want them motivated? If so, if you're going to do this sooner or later, I'm going to suggest, and that's why I'm getting on the call, take time out of the equation and let's do this. The reason I got on the
Who heard that from the
Okay.
customer? What did the
Oh,
customer
fuck.
just say?
Yeah.
Okay. Write this down. The professional is willing to deal with emotions. The professional is willing to deal with emotions. Okay, write this down. When the customer gets emotional, you stay flat, unemotional in the close. You want to use emotion when selling, you want to use logic in the close. I'll repeat, when the customer gets emotional, you stay flat. You're like Spock. Who knows who Spock was?
I think most of the people here.
Yeah.
Sci-fi fan.
Dude, was he emotional or was he just cool, calm, collected? Okay. Okay, you want to use emotion during your presentation. Hey, so this is what it's going to look like. You're going to walk down your walk. It's going to be unbelievable. Use emotion there. In the close, it's too much money. You're talking numbers. You want to be flat. Customer goes, okay, watch what's going to happen.
The call was to assure you that I'm here to support you and help you. Look, Carlos,
Tell him to fax me a contract. Jesus Christ.
Carlos, I appreciate your business.
Thank you, buddy.
Okay, and also, hey,
I can't believe I got a chance to talk to you. That was dynamite, man.
Hey, let me-
I appreciate you getting on the phone.
well, that's what everybody should be doing right now to make businesses work so they survive and prosper. What's your home address? I want to send you something personal for me.
935 Eldridge, Sugarland, Texas, 77478.
I wonder how much stuff that guy's had sent.
You got horses?
Yes, sir, I do.
What's the zip code again? I missed it.
77478.
Okay, good. Do you have any concerns about doing this?
No, man, my concern was the money, but I mean, the way you explained it to me, it makes sense, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
Would there be
it's
any
one of these places.
right? Would there be any reason you would change your mind?
No, man, I'm not going to change my mind. Let's go for it.
I'm
Listen, if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
I'm sending it to you right now. Thank you so much for your business, and look for your mailbox. Look in your mailbox for something special.
Thank you, man. Great talking to you.
Okay, thank you. So, see what we do is look. It's not.
Okay, that sales guy that went, ah! Okay.
Yeah.
At the beginning of that call, what was that sales guy saying?
He was trying to set up a future meeting. He was essentially putting it on the back burner, losing the sale.
Call you back next month. That literally went from call you back next month in a span of less than 6 minutes to fax me a contract.
It was like 5.5.
So guys, we have a program just to be quite frank with you guys, like that I want to get you on, that's going to give you over 120 different closes, how to handle objections, how to do what Grant did, less aggressively, of course. I just wanted to see, raise your hand if you would be interested in learning more strategies from what I showed you today. Raise your hand. Awesome. Awesome, guys. Okay, cool. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. I'm going to drop you my cell. And then also text me a picture of your notes. So that way I could determine who the winner is. Hold on, let me just pull up my information. Just while I'm doing this, any questions on the call today? Anything that's unclear to you guys?
It's a lot to take in. It's good.
Yeah, if you guys are kind of like, whoa, that was a lot of information, man. I don't really know where this fits in. Like, don't worry. My intention is to help you guys out. And if you have questions, please don't hesitate to call me. I'm more than happy to help you guys figure it out.
Appreciate it.
What were your biggest takeaways from today, guys?
Definitely, there's quite a few takeaways, but I think just kind of figuring out how to get the customer, figuring where the customer is sitting is one of the main things I take away from this. Being able to know that I have to be able to recognize where they are before I try to make that close.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Got it.
the,
What
the
else?
process. I mean, for me, I do it. I'm really random a lot of times, and it does work, but that works only up until the closing usually, and then I will take it too far. So this has been nice to kind of make this more efficient. This is a numbers game in the end, as much as we want to, say it's a client care thing, but it's sales numbers, right? So less time per client would be more efficient to get more clients.
Love it. Love it. Ryan, what about you? What was your biggest takeaway?
Probably the way to counteract the objections at the close.
Nice. Nice. And then for you, Chris?
Just the internal objection thing. I like that. Even if you want to bring up that little program thing that you had, I like
I'm going
that.
to show you the
Yeah,
oh
I didn't
yeah,
get a
like
chance to
that
take it.
exercise.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
exercise
Hold on.
one.
Let me
I didn't get a chance to take
let me pull that up. Hold on. Close. There's so much stuff I didn't even have a time to cover today, guys. Like this topic goes so deep. But yeah, take a picture of this, and then when we get off here, guys, like do this exercise. I promise you, your conviction in the close will be so much higher.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Definitely agree with that.
Like I had a company similar to you guys that I had them do this exercise. I said, okay, guys, let's do it right now on the spot. Pull out your piece of paper, and then I was like, all right, give me the reasons for my company. And like they were able to come up with like 2. And I'm like, no wonder you guys are struggling in the close, man. Like you gotta really sell yourself. That's the hardest thing about sales is the customer is always trying to unsell you. You gotta be constantly selling yourself, learning, developing, getting more information like this. So I'm glad that what I showed you today was able to help you in any way. I hope it works. And I hope to work with you guys more. If you have any questions, like I said, you could call my cell, text me anytime. If you're 8 beers deep on a Saturday night at 1 in the morning, do not text me, but otherwise reach out anytime.
All good. Appreciate it, Ryan.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
That was helpful.
Thanks for your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Okay. Cheers.